What are Indigenous rights in human rights law? Imagine a world where every group's voice matters equally, especially those who have faced centuries of unfair treatment. That's what Indigenous rights in human rights law aim to protect. These rights are special because they recognize Indigenous peoples as distinct groups with unique cultures, histories, and identities. They acknowledge the wrongs done to them through colonization and discrimination, and seek to restore their dignity and independence. Indigenous rights say that these groups are equal to everyone else and should not face discrimination just because of their background. These rights are both individual and collective. That means each person has rights, but so does the community as a whole. For example, Indigenous communities have the right to control their land and resources, and they also have the right to keep their languages and traditions alive. One of the most important rights is the right to self-determination. Indigenous peoples can decide how they want to govern themselves and develop their cultures and economies. They can maintain their own political and legal systems while still participating in the wider society. This helps them preserve their way of life and make choices that suit their needs. Another key right is ownership of land, territories, and resources. Indigenous groups have the right to own and manage lands they have traditionally used or acquired. Governments are supposed to recognize these rights and consult Indigenous peoples before making decisions that affect their lands. This helps prevent unfair land grabs or destruction of sacred sites. Indigenous peoples also have the right to practice and revitalize their cultures, languages, and spiritual practices. This includes access to traditional medicines and maintaining their customs without interference. Respecting these rights helps keep their cultural identity alive for future generations. The principle of free, prior, and informed consent is vital. It means Indigenous peoples must be properly consulted before any laws or projects are approved that could impact their lives. They should have a real say and the ability to say no if they disagree. Protection from violence and discrimination is another core right. Indigenous communities should live free from threats like forced removal or violence. They deserve safety, peace, and equal treatment in employment, education, and health services. Indigenous groups also have the right to self-governance. They can run their own decision-making bodies and legal systems, as long as they respect human rights standards. This helps them manage their internal affairs and maintain their sovereignty. Finally, Indigenous peoples have the right to participate in national decision-making. They should be included in government processes and have opportunities to influence policies that affect them. This promotes fairness and respect for their norms and traditions. When we look at these rights through the lens of ethics and politics, it's clear they are about justice and equality. Recognizing Indigenous rights challenges governments to fix past wrongs and respect their sovereignty. It's about creating a fairer society where everyone's cultural identity is valued and protected. Governments need to listen, consult, and cooperate with Indigenous peoples, especially when it comes to land and cultural preservation. Upholding these rights isn't just legal, it's a moral obligation to treat all groups with fairness and respect. This approach helps build a society where everyone can thrive, regardless of their background or history.